Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, your host and founder of Meldon Law. I love having everyone listen and view the show. Last week we had a great show with Florida basketball coach Todd Golden, and today we have a really interesting, very interesting guest who takes care of animals that have been abandoned. And we're not talking about dogs and cats. We're talking about big animals. And we're going to hear from our guest in just a few minutes after we finish the announcements. Since this is Meldon Law and Friends, we're a community podcast, and we try to promote what's going on in our community, North Central Florida, Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City. We have offices in all of those locations. We just opened an office in Williston. So we love promoting what goes on in the community, and we think that it's a valuable function that Meldon Law provides to the community in support of the communities and trying to give back to those that help us. So thank you for listening and viewing the show. We appreciate it. Anyhow, some things going on. Okay. Florida Gator basketball has started. The men's and women's basketball programs are in full swing. They both have very good teams. And this year, as in the past 2 years, Meldon Law is giving away $19.71 for every free throw made. We hope it adds up to a lot of money. We've donated over $20,000 to our favorite charity. And this year, it's the Ronald McDonald House in Gainesville, which provides lodging and food and support for the families whose kids are being treated at UF Health for life-threatening illnesses. Usually it's a heart problem that's life-threatening, or cancer, leukemia, and I can't imagine what it's like as a parent going through that with your child, and then, not being able to go to work if you live out of town, not being able to have your kids go to school because you got to take care of them and you're in Gainesville while your kid's getting treatment, and the financial strain and the emotional strain. The Ronald McDonald House is the best. So we want to support them, and that's what Meldon Law is doing to support the Ronald McDonald House, because they are awesome. They doubled the number of suites they have for families to 50 about a year and a half ago, and we are hoping that we raise enough money this year to do a great job of keeping the Ronald McDonald House in great shape. So we are there. When you go to the games, you'll see the charity stripe for Ronald McDonald House. Williston, November 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. There's a wine fest there. So take advantage of that. It's at Homestead Park. Tom Petty weekend. The hurricane wiped out the original date in early October for the Tom Petty weekend, and it's been moved, and it's November 8th and 9th at the Heartwood Soundstage. It's going to be great, and for the first time, we've got a Heartbreaker coming back. Stan Lynch is bringing his band down there on Saturday. So show up, be there, be square. All you have to do is Google Heartwood Soundstage or go to Facebook, and you'll get information on tickets and pricing information. Ocala, this is very interesting. The College of Central Florida is sponsoring TED Talks November 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. In Ocala, and the theme this year is humanity. The meaning of humanity includes being compassionate, sympathetic, or generous, and the quality or the state of being humane. So I think it's all very important. I saw this morning a man I admire, Bernie Marcus, who founded Home Depot when he was almost 50 years old. He is giving away, I think, 90% of his almost $10 billion fortune to charity, and he has done that consistently throughout his life. So I admire him, and I think that it's very important to learn lessons from those who've gone before us about the right way to live. If you want a really interesting obituary, check out Bernie Marcus, Home Depot, and it's a life well lived. Coming up, University of Florida is playing LSU November 16th. It looks like it's going to be a 3:30 game. And we're going to be doing a fan fest, spin to win, outside the O-Dome. So come and join us, support the Gator football team. Man, I thought we had it against Georgia. We just got a few bad breaks with our quarterback and other players being injured. However, the Gators fought on, and with 7 minutes left in the game, they were still tied and in the game. So let's see what they can do against Texas. LSU is coming up after Texas, and I think we're going to give LSU all they can handle. Florida Gateway Pink Crisis Fund Golf Tournament in Lake City. Our friends in Lake City at Quail Heights Country Club are raising money. The proceeds benefit the Florida Gateway Pink Crisis Fund, which assists cancer patients of Columbia County and surrounding counties with medical expenses. Very important. For entry, just contact the Lake City Chamber of Commerce. The Equine Industry Expo, Hobby Horse Equestrian Games, and All Breeds Horse Parade, November 22nd and 23rd. That sounds like fun. Friday, November 22nd, Saturday, November 23rd, at the Florida Horse Park in Ocala. It's all portion of the proceeds go to the foundation for the Chamber of Commerce for equine education programs. Ocala is the horse capital of the world, and this is one way to support it. So if you just go to CEP, which is Chamber of Commerce for Marion County, you will see what's going on at the Florida Horse Park. Again, the date of that, November, hold on one second, 22 and 23, Equine Industry Expo, the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games, and All Breeds Horse Parade. That should be fun, All Breeds Horse Parade. As far as Gator basketball, men's and women's, gymnastics, all the Gator sports, Meldon Law is giving away free tickets. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page and just put in Meldon Law. It'll pop up, and you can win great seats. We had terrific winners this past week for the Florida-Georgia game. They got over there, had great seats in the club section. They wound up they stayed 2 nights over there in a first-class hotel right on the river across from the stadium, ate at Ruth Chris, and had a bunch of other gifts they received. We love doing that every year. It's a big event, and thank you for all of you that participated. couple other things going on. I've updated my book on buying Florida auto insurance, as well as my book, 7 Mistakes That Can Wreck Your Florida Accident Case. These two books are critical if you live in the state of Florida, because Florida insurance laws are different than anywhere else in the state of Florida. Anywhere else in the United States. We're the only state that doesn't have mandatory liability insurance for those on the road, which means you can be whacked and socked with a couple $100,000 in bills because the jerk that hit you doesn't have insurance, and that's legal. You don't have to have squat for insurance as far as liability insurance in Florida. So remember, full coverage is not full coverage. Full coverage is when you invest money to protect yourself in the state of Florida, because no one else can protect you from a driver that hits you who has minimal insurance. $10,000 or $25,000 worth of insurance ain't going to do much to help a seriously injured victim. That's what we do at Meldon Law. We help people put their lives back together after serious accidents. So that's it. We're going to take a short break on Meldon Law and Friends, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us
here.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. And I've got my good friend Sue Nassivera with me, who is with this incredible animal protection group called E.A.R.S. Welcome to the show,
Thanks
Sue.
for having me. Thanks for having me.
So anyhow, I love big animals. I love all animals. My wife, Patricia, is an animal lover, and so we have all kind of critters around our home. And I want to thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
I'd like you to tell our listeners and viewers, what is E.A.R.S. and how did you get involved?
Okay, well, E.A.R.S. is Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary. We're in Citra, Florida, which is just down the road from Gainesville.
Yeah, it's right in the middle between Gainesville and Ocala.
Yes, yeah, easy to find. So we're in Citra. I got started well over 20 years ago. Went on a tour myself. E.A.R.S. was fairly new at the time. Went around the place and fell in love with it. I had been to zoos and big zoos, but never to a privately owned zoo before. So I went around and just fell in love with the place. It felt like home to me, but I was very busy at the time, and so I wasn't able to start volunteering. It wasn't too long, though, a couple months. I had some time free up and started volunteering. Started as a Wednesday girl, went from the Wednesday girl to a Wednesday Saturday girl, then to a Wednesday Saturday Sunday girl, and it kind of snowballed.
Yeah, well, how did you deal with, your time availability? Because I know you and your husband, they had a business going and everything else.
Yes, yeah. So my husband has been in business over 50 years.
What kind of business?
It's a manufacturing business. We make point-of-purchase displays mostly for the flooring industry.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had our own business, so I was able to get away. And at that time, we weren't quite as busy as we are now. Now we're real busy, and I work 7 days a week. If I'm not working for our business, I'm working at E.A.R.S. It's
Now,
a big
do you live
undertaking.
at E.A.R.S?
I don't. I live about 10 miles south of E.A.R.S., so I can be there in 10 minutes. But I have two caretakers on the property, Bradley and Theta, and they live on the property. So there is always somebody on the property with our animals.
And tell us more about the property and what goes on there.
Okay, well, we have a little less than 30 acres. With lots of different kinds of animals. So we started as a big cat sanctuary, mostly tigers, but time just went on, and more animals needed a place to come to, whether they were retiring from maybe circus life, or people had them that were not licensed to have them, which is a big problem. It used to be a bigger problem than it is now. Or maybe they got a baby tiger and it was cute and cuddly, and then it grew a little bit and they realized, oh my gosh, I don't know how to take care of this animal, and plus it eats a lot. And they had to find a new place for it.
So how would people buy tigers? I mean, can you do that?
You can. It is legal to buy a tiger. What is illegal is for people to sell tigers to people that are not licensed. But money drives a lot of things. So unfortunately, there are some people that would sell to you if you had enough money. Those people you probably want to stay away from. So.
Got it. So so what goes on day to day out at E.A.R.S?
Okay, well, a lot. It's pretty much, I say it's the same, but it's different. So
It's not a traditional zoo.
it's not a traditional zoo. It's privately owned. It's small. And we only have a handful of people that are there. We are always looking for good volunteers. Long-term, committed volunteers. And that's very hard because people, to give up their time, most of us are very busy, 7 days a week anyhow, doing our lives with our children or grandchildren, whatever we're involved in, and we don't have time to give up. And those people I am looking for, because these animals get cared for 7 days a week. We feed and we clean 7 days a week at E.A.R.S. That picture there is our Florida black bears, and they are getting a look. A lot of stuff there that looks like apples, and there's everything in there.
Looks like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is probably. Yeah, they get lots of fruits and vegetables as well as other things. And those are Florida black bears. A lot of people are like, oh my goodness, when they see our bears, they can't believe how big they are. That's because they are in captivity and they eat very well, as you can see, 7 days a week. So they are a little bit bigger than what you're going to run into in the National Forest.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures with you,
Yes.
and they're good-sized bears, and
Yes.
You need to respect them, right?
Absolutely. Those three, two of them came from Pensacola. Their mother was hit on the road, and they were too young to go back to the wild. Another one came from Longwood, who was digging in a dumpster with his mother. Because there was human contact, the mama bear reached out to protect her baby. And when she did, she touched the woman that was out there. And long story short, the mama bear lost her life, and the baby bear was under 40 pounds and needed a place to come to. So he came to us because he didn't know how to take care of himself.
How old and how big does a bear need to be to survive on their own in the wild?
They need to be a couple years. I think they need to be at least a couple years old. Their mom has a lot to teach them. So they have a lot to learn before they can be on their own out in the wild.
How long do bears live?
Well, we've got some Asian black bears, which are very similar to Florida black bears, and they are over 40 years old. That one is an Asian black bear. So she now, and that's been a few years ago, but that's a female. And she's as round as she is tall. She's actually quite cute. But she's over 40 years old now.
So some of these bears live a long time,
Yes.
and their nurturing is not the same as humans, but they spending a couple of years with the mother
Yes.
Is different than a lot of animal species.
Yes, and they our Florida black bears, we're all moving into where they live, and we need to learn to live with them. And learn how to live with them, because Florida black bears typically are not an aggressive bear. They're not like a grizzly bear. So Florida black bears we can live side by side with them. They're scavengers. They're going to eat your food out of your bird feeders. They're going to. So if you have bears,
if you like trash cans,
Sure,
right?
sure.
If you don't have them locked down, they're going to find them,
and
then
they're going to keep coming back every night.
Right.
So just get rid of that stuff, and they'll move on.
It's funny because my wife spent 2.5 years building our koi pond, right?
Oh.
And then the blue herons heard about our koi pond,
And they told other blue herons.
and so she was having a fit, and then finally her solution was to get a net to put over the pond.
Yep.
And then the blue herons still show up, but they understand that they have to go to another grocery store.
Exactly, and that's what we got to do in order to live with these animals.
Yeah.
We don't need to get rid of them. We don't need to kill them. We just need to learn how to coexist.
Yeah, and it's true all over, with animals or with natural disasters. Natural disasters have been happening forever, right?
Sure.
Hurricanes and
Sure.
stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's tragic when you see what the devastation that it does. However, a couple hundred years ago, it wasn't a problem.
Right, exactly.
And the same for the animals,
Sure.
the black bears
Sure.
and all the native species around here. The Indians had been here for 10,000 years, and they coexisted very nicely with animals,
yes.
right?
We just need to learn how to do that.
Okay, well, that's a whole
Yes, that's another story.
That's another
Yeah.
story. So let's get focused on E.A.R.S. Okay, so you allow visitors, right?
We do. We have visitors the first Saturday of every month. We have a public tour, and I will give you the tour. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to walk around our sanctuary, and I'll tell you about every animal that is there, where they came from, what we got to do with them every day, and you get to learn about all of them.
Wow. I can't wait till my grandkids come in town and take them out there, because they absolutely love animals, and the ability to see grown animals in a setting that is conducive to them, number one, seeing them and seeing what they really look like,
Right.
and number two, learning about them.
Learning to respect them and know that they deserve to be here just as much as we do. And what small zoos and sanctuaries do that maybe some of the bigger zoos do differently is that we're able to bring you a little closer to the animals. You have to stay back, 6 feet or so from all our enclosures, but you're going to see these animals. And when you're up close to a 500-pound tiger, that walks in front of you, and you see them up close with me because I'm licensed to touch them, which you have to be licensed to touch them in the state of Florida, or else you can't. There's no contact.
So, so do you touch them when you're there's a screen between the two of you?
There's wire.
There's
Yes.
wire.
So yeah, we at E.A.R.S do not go in any of the enclosures with any of our big cats. We let them be big cats. So our way is one of the things I tell people on our tours is my job is to protect them from all people, including myself. People are always making mistakes. Anyone can make a mistake, including myself. And if I were to do something, just do something silly, and that cat hurt me, his life may change because of it. So my job is to protect him even from myself. So
Well, that's a very interesting perspective because as Floridians grow in numbers, right?
Yeah.
We're moving into territories. I mean, in Gainesville, we raised our kids out in the hammock area off of Millhopper Road, and it was surrounded by a state park. And, we lived in the woods, on
Sure.
big lots,
sure.
And our kids got to, run around in the woods, and they survived it
Yes,
somehow,
of
right?
course, of
I
course,
mean,
we can.
we really, weren't like freaking out about our kids, getting eaten
Playing
up by
in the
a
woods. Sure.
playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they play in the woods. They come home from school, go out into the woods, and play around until dark, and
Right. Well, most of our animals that are living in our area here in Central Florida, they're more afraid of us than we are of them. So if kids are playing, they hear all that noise, the animal's going to try to stay away from them. They're not out to get the children. So black bears, bobcats, all of those animals, even some of the snakes and stuff, they're not out to get you.
Right. They without us, they can survive and do fine.
Yes.
In most circumstances,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, what
Absolutely.
about like the Florida panther?
Yeah, well, they need us to help protect them big time because of the cars. Down south where those Florida panther are, the population is so big. And we need to have natural corridors for those Florida panthers to be able to get under or over our highways so they can cross safely. So a lot of that is going on, and throughout the South, and it's moving up our state, there is natural corridors that they're trying to preserve for our animals. It's very important.
yeah.
We need predators. Predators are as important as the little animals. The predators keep the little animals in check.
Right. Well, there's a balance of
Yes.
nature,
Yes.
and human beings come in and disrupt it, and then they wonder why things go
Haywire.
right?
Exactly.
And it's like, what's going on? These bears are coming and messing with our
Right.
garbage, and how dare they? Didn't they go to school and learn about etiquette and
Right,
not to go to your neighbor's yard and,
right.
and night after night mess with their garbage?
Sure.
Which my brother lives in Colorado, and they have a lot of bears
Yes,
and
they
stuff
do.
out there.
They have bigger bears.
Bigger bears, yeah. And he has to they have to lock their garbage
Oh,
because
sure.
bears are pretty smart.
They are very smart. They sure are.
And if you don't like literally lock it with a lock, they will figure out how to open it up, right?
They will. They will. If they can't, they'll break it. I mean, if it's not bear proof,
Yeah.
and they make those kind of garbage cans that are supposedly bear proof. But if a hungry bear is hungry enough, he might try to figure that out.
You try to figure, if you have a big metal dumpster with secured locks and latches, you might be okay.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Anything less, you never know.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the big cats, right? And, the cats that you have there are just amazing. So what's it like dealing with big cats?
It's quite an honor. It's an honor. The two that you're looking at there, those are black leopards. So these two girls that you see on the screen there are, they're actually pushing 22 years old. We've only had them about 4 years. They came from a veterinarian that actually lived in Gainesville, who started, she had a small practice with little kitty cats and dogs, and saw a need for veterinarians for big cats. So she would take in cats that had health issues, and these cats, they lived with her whole life, but her health dwindled, and she was one of our vets, and so she wanted them to come to us. So we've had them for 4 years, and their names are Sassafras and Tatiana, and they are just, when you're next to one of them, they are just magnificent. I mean, they take your breath away. And even though I've been doing it for over 20 years, every day is just, it's amazing.
They're magnificent,
it is. You can't,
regal animals.
Every day is just as good as the last.
So how much contact do you have with these
we
animals?
have, me, Theta, and Bradley, we pretty much touch every animal on that property just about every day.
So what they come up to the screen?
Yes, they want contact. These animals being born and raised in captivity, now letting you know, the only ones at E.A.R.S that were not born in captivity are our Florida black bears and the 2 deer that we have on our property. The rest were all captive bred. So, and some of them, like the tigers and lions and leopards, they've been captive bred for many, many, many generations. None of those big cats come from the wild and stuck into a cage. These are captive animals. So they get used to routines, just like your little dogs and cats at home. They're used to their regular time to eat. They're used to the same people. They like the same voices. That's our older deer, the one with the antlers. That is Skylar. And then the little one just came in a few months ago, and we've named him Acorn. And he is a piebald. A lot of people have never seen them. They happen naturally in the wild. He came from the wild, but he had health problems. They can tend to have issues, that piebald gene. And so he had a broken tibia, and he has some eyesight issues. He was at a rehab, and they deemed him unable to go back to the wild. So we don't take anything from the wild. It has to go directly to a rehab first. If it's deemed that it can't go back to the wild for whatever the reason, then they can come to me.
So what's a piebald?
Multicolored deer.
I mean, for those of you listening, a lot of our folks are listening.
Right.
Right. So
it's a multi it's got a lot of white. So, our Florida white-tailed deer usually just have a little bit of white on their belly and maybe a little bit under their tail. But piebalds are brown and white mostly, can have a little black, and they almost look spotted like a cow. But it's a deer. And he's a lot of fun. When we first got him, he was quite little, so he actually still takes a bottle from Theta every day, because he likes it very much.
How old is he?
He's now about 6 months, 7 months
so
old.
he's just a little...
Yeah, so he's still a baby, and he still does prefer, he likes a bottle, and he loves Theta. He is finally eating a little food that he needs to be eating as well. But in his earlier days at E.A.R.S, when he was about 3 months old, his best friend was a pit bull that was left at our gate for almost 5 years ago. Jack, he was dumped, and Theta took him in. And so Jack and Acorn lived together with Theta. So we had to teach Acorn that he was not a pit bull, that he's a deer.
Because they pick up the habits,
do,
right?
sure. He really thought he was a pit bull.
So if people want to support E.A.R.S, what are some of the ways that they can? I know you can book like a private tour.
Yes,
and
so we
help
do our
support.
public tour, like I said, the first Saturday of every month at 10 a.m. So you can come on that. Or if for some reason you have family coming into town and it's not the first Saturday of the month. You can call me. I just need a little bit of time. I can't do it tomorrow. I've got to have a few weeks, please, notice, and even more if you can, so I can give you a private tour. And you can come, and we'll be glad to give you a private tour, show you our animals.
It's a great way to have a wonderful time, educate, yourself, your kids, your grandkids, whoever you want to bring along. I've been on private tours at other wildlife sanctuaries, and they're always memorable experiences.
Yes, yeah. Our small zoos and the big zoos as well, you should go. You need to support local. So no matter where you live, you should support your local zoos and sanctuaries, your humane societies, all of them. Support local. We depend on your donations. All of us small nonprofits need donations. We get no money from the government. So the only way we can survive is the public.
And it's you do have a deductible situation, so if somebody donates,
Yes,
it's tax.
I can give you a receipt. It's tax exempt. Yep.
And so, open up your wallet and go have a good time.
Certainly. Come see us at E.A.R.S.
Yeah.
We have, and I don't know if it's a good time to run into that, but we have our big car show.
Yeah, let's talk about it. This is the time we want to
Okay.
promote it.
Right. So our big car show, we do it twice a year. It's the Hot Cars and Cool Cats. It's November 16th. So we're right around the corner, just not even 2 weeks anymore. We're almost there. And every penny that comes in for that car show goes to E.A.R.S. My husband and I have been doing this car show, I think 16 years now. So we started out once a year, and now we do it twice a year. Mm-hmm. So it's always the third Saturday of November and the third Saturday of April.
I'm looking at the notes here, and it says we got DJ Derek, who doubles as our photographer, and has been with you since
Pretty much
the
from the beginning. He's my Tigers photographer as well as E.A.R.S. Derek is wonderful, gives of his time every car show. I don't even the thing is my volunteers, everybody that helps me with this car show have become friends if they weren't friends before, and all these people give of their time, and it's a lot of work. Could not do it without every person that helps.
So if somebody wants to Google it, what do they Google?
Well, we have Facebook pages. You can do that as well. But if you're wanting to Google, you can Google E.A.R.S. E.A.R.S. Endangered Rescue Sanctuary. And that will pull up this flyer as well.
What about Facebook page?
Facebook, same thing. You can put in Hot Cars and Cool Cats. If you put in Hot Cars and Cool Cats, it has its own Facebook page. E.A.R.S. has its own Facebook page. The Tiger Maximus has his own Facebook page.
Oh, well,
Yes.
I love cars, so...
You'll love it. This last show in April, we had over 250 cars entered in the show. Cars, motorcycles, and trucks.
Wow.
Yep, $10 to come and enter your vehicle. Myself and Fred Duncan, who works for my husband and I, make the trophies. They're very, very cool, and a lot of people really, really like them. So we make the trophies and work hard on that every time.
So what kind of cars show up?
Everything from old Model Ts to brand new Corvettes. It doesn't matter. Same with motorcycles, rat rods, big trucks, little trucks, you name it, it's there.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because car shows, I've been to a lot of car shows and some really nice ones,
Sure.
And it's cool when you see cars that are super old, right?
Yep.
All the way up to the brand new cars and
Yep.
what's, the futuristic cars and stuff.
Sure, and there's people, there's some of the young kids are just building their first car, so they're building it. It's not perfect yet. We have trophies for them as well. So the trophies are not just for people who have, a car that's a $100,000 car. There's trophies for that teenager that's working on his first truck. And he loves that truck as much as I love my car. So he does, if he's working on it and trying to do things and wants to, he loves it. He should enter in the show.
And there's a lot of reward. I know
is.
some, car guys and gals that, they can't wait to get home and have the nights and the weekends to
Sure.
go in
And
the garage.
the nice thing about our show is all the people that come and enter their vehicles, they're all supportive of everyone. So we all, I might be a Corvette girl, and you come in a Volkswagen. I can appreciate that Volkswagen just as much as I appreciate my
So
Corvette.
are you a Corvette girl?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I got to tell you a secret. A couple of years ago, my wife got a Tesla.
Nice.
And we figured out how to take long trips on electric vehicles,
boy.
which was kind of nice,
Uh-huh.
And then the following year, I bought a Tesla S model that goes 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
Nice,
Okay?
nice.
And I took it out to the Gainesville Raceway.
Oh, good for you.
And it's really cool because you have to warm up the battery, right? And it takes 5 minutes, and you hit the racetrack mode.
Right.
It spends 5 minutes, and then after the battery it gets warmed up, then you hit another button, and then it goes into its racetrack stance. They call it the cheetah mode.
okay.
And the front of the car goes down, and the back goes up.
Oh, wow.
And you put your feet, one on the accelerator and the other on the brake, and then you just let up on the brake, and because it's electric, it takes off like a bat out of hell. Okay? It is so. And when I have friends and I want to show them how fast the car is, I have to warn them to put their head back again.
Yeah,
and
it'll put you in the seat, won't it?
it'll put you in the seat.
It sure will. It sure will.
But I've had, lots of other fun cars in the
Sure.
past,
Sure.
And so I'm going to see if I can make it to this exciting event.
Yes.
Again, it's Hot Cars and Cool Cats Car Show, and the date this year is November the 16th, which is the 3rd November. There's another one in April. However, this is the one we need you to focus in on. What time does it open up?
Show cars start rolling in around 8 o'clock in the morning. The show really doesn't start till 10. So it's from 10 to 3. We give trophies away at 2 o'clock. And it's a lot of fun all day. Great food. Everybody loves our food. Good prices. You can bring your whole family and eat cheaper than you go to McDonald's.
Right.
So
Which
it's
is great.
great.
You have
Yes.
vendors, great food.
Yes.
Do you have food trucks out there?
We actually do all the cooking ourselves.
Oh, that's even
Yes,
better.
yes. I have a great couple of chefs that take care of everything for us. So, again, wonderful.
And if you come, bring 2 bottles of bleach and a bottle of Dawn dish soap, and you will get a free tour at E.A.R.S.
Yes. So I thought, well, we clean every day at E.A.R.S. Bleach is one of my expenses. We go through probably a pallet of bleach a month. That's about 168 bottles of bleach, gallons a month. So I go through a lot, and that's a big expense. So if you bring a couple bottles of bleach and a bottle of Dawn, I'm going to give you a free tour of E.A.R.S.
And so you bleach and then you use the Dawn.
We do. The Dawn helps with the grease from the chicken and stuff like that when we feed the animals. So, yeah.
These are the ins and outs, the secrets of
Yes.
what it's like to take care of a zoo.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
but this is a different zoo. I just wanted to touch base on the issue of zoos. Because I always loved going to zoos growing up, and I know there's some activists are against zoos for whatever reason. I just wanted your take on that.
I think people got a bad taste about zoos. Back quite a few years, 50s and 60s, zoos were a different place than they are now. The zoos now are not little tiny cages, that these animals never get to touch their feet on grass or anything like that. Zoos are not like that anymore. We've come a long way. And so places like E.A.R.S, all of our big cats have great big turnouts that they go into every single day. So they have their bedrooms that they eat in and they sleep in. But every day, every morning, they go back out if they choose to. Let me tell you something. They don't always choose to. They like their bedrooms. So a lot of times they will just stay in their bedroom when, they have the choice to go outside.
So, I went up to Washington, D.C. A few years back and went to the National Zoo there. What a remarkable...
Yes. Magnificent. That's a very nice zoo. Very nice zoo.
And when you go to zoos like that, you go, wait a minute, it's serving a really important function.
It sure is. We all need to educate the public and let our children see these animals up close. When you watch them on National Geographic does a wonderful thing. But most of us don't get to go to, say, Siberia or even to Africa or all these places where these animals come from. We can't afford to go.
One out of 10,000 people get to go to Africa or wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
So go to your zoos and support them and see these animals. The only way that you're going to really get it is be that close to a tiger.
And I think
or
that
a lion or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Sue, I think that's very important for people to realize that it's part of an educational process, and that the animals that you're seeing are teaching our young people how to respect animals, how to protect animals, how to be interested in animals. There's only so much you can do by turning on the TV.
Right.
I mean, that's good too,
Sure,
right? My grandson Noah, he loves animals, right?
Right.
He could tell you every single dinosaur that ever lived,
Sure.
right? From the time he was 2 years old, he was so fascinated with dinosaurs, and now it's also animals and things like that. And the experience of actually seeing them up close is wonderful because it puts a different perspective on
And
what
it can change your life. It changed mine. I was raised with horses and lots of animals, but they were domestic animals. They weren't exotic animals. So I've always been around animals, always loved animals, but would go to the zoos all the time. I went to all the circuses growing up. I was always around animals. My parents never said no to me. So if I brought something home, it didn't matter what it was, I was allowed to keep it as long as I took care of it. And of course, from a young age, I was doing that. So animals have always been a big part of my life, but the day I walked on E.A.R.S property changed my life. I mean, it obviously changed my life since now it is my life. It definitely changed my life.
Okay, well, we're ready to wrap up Meldon Law Friends. Sue, it's been so wonderful talking with you and getting educated. Sue Nassivera with E.A.R.S. And again, if you want to visit, just Google E.A.R.S or go to Facebook page E.A.R.S. And even more importantly, November 16th from 10 to 3, we're having a fun event. It will be a blast. You'll get to hang out with animals and cars.
Yes, mostly cars. There will be one tiger that lives there. So you might be able to see him. There'll be a sign up to see him. But you will get the opportunity to get tours of E.A.R.S at that time at a later date.
And there must be a reason why they've named so many cars after animals.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, that's a wrap for our show on Meldon Law and Friends. Thank you, Sue, for joining us. It's been great.
Thanks
and we look forward to a successful event November 16th.
Thank you.